Hi everyone, my name is Liz, I read, and welcome to another video. So this is my recommendations video for if you like the Bookish Boyfriends series, then you'll probably like these other titles. So if you don't know what this series is, it's written by Tiffany Schmidt, and basically each book is a different classic retelling. But the gimmick here is that the English teacher at this high school kind of drops these classics in the hands of students to help them with their love life. I promise it's not nearly as creepy as it sounds. Each one we follow a different main protagonist who gets prescribed or is given a classic from this teacher, and they read the classic and they see their life kind of emulating that classic, and they fall in love in the meantime. So in book 1, it is A Date with Darcy. It is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. Book 2 is The Boy Next Story, which is a Little Women's retelling. And finally is Talk Nerdy to Me, which is Anna Green Gables retelling. So I want to provide some recommendations. First of all, read this series because it is actually really, really good. I've given every single book 5 stars. I think this author is really talented, and I think it's a very underrated series because I don't really hear people talking about it. So first of all, read the series if you like classics and you like YA romance, and if you like classical retellings, definitely a high recommendation from me. But if you have read the series and you're looking for more recommendations, here's the list. So my number 1 recommendation for this list is The Only Thing Worse Than Me Is You by Lily Anderson. And the main reasons why I recommend this one over anything else, because it is actually a retelling. It is Much Ado About Nothing retelling, and also it's set in like a prep high school, so really prestigious genius school, if you will. And there's a really good friend group in here, just like the Bookish Boyfriends. So it's definitely a recommendation from me. This one, again, is like a hate to love romance, and 2 of the books out of the Bookish Boyfriends are hate to love romances. So in here we follow Trixie, and she's constantly in competition with Ben, and they've always been in competition. They've always been combative. And what happens in this one is that her friends secretly tell her that he is in love with her, and his friends do the same. So they overhear conversations and assume that each other has a crush on the other, and the romance blossoms from here. Also, there was a bit of a mix-up during Halloween. Trixie gets really scared at the school haunted house, and Ben is in costume and she doesn't realize it's him, and he helps her kind of leave the haunted house or what have you. Anyways, I really loved it because it was a hate to love romance. The other elements I really like about this one is that there's a lot of like geeky references. There's references to like Doctor Who, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, other like comic books stuff. Also, these students are extremely smart, and so there's some references, whether it's about science or math or English or whatever. So definitely recommend this one. It was a lot of fun. At some point I do want to reread it. Go check this one out. The next recommendation I have for you is Between the Lines, written by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. Jodi Picoult is a famous author, but I believe this is her daughter, so they co-wrote this story together. It's again another young adult story romance, and the reason why I'm recommending this one because of the bookish themes or book themes. The main protagonist here, she is in love with this one novel that she always borrows from her local school library. She gets a lot of comfort from reading this book, and she is head over heels with the hero of the story. She has, it's her book boyfriend or whatever. And then all of a sudden he starts talking to her. She's surprised of this happening. They develop a relationship. I believe she somehow gets into the book and he maybe comes out. So it's about her falling in love with this character in the story, and he somehow comes to life. When I read it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. So if you like kind of bookish tie-ins with your stories, definitely recommend this one. The next one is Geekerella, written by Ashley Poston. This is a retelling. It's a Cinderella retelling. I don't remember any of the characters' names, but if you know Cinderella, you're gonna know the beats of this one. It's a nerdy tie-in, so our main protagonist, she is in love with this one sci-fi TV show. I think it's kind of like Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica, one of those. Anyways, she is really upset because they're gonna turn it into a movie or TV show, and she doesn't think that the lead actor is right for the role. She has like a fan website on that she like rants about it on there. Also, I think her father used to run conventions, but obviously since it's a Cinderella retelling, her father has passed, so he's no longer with her. She's living with her stepmother, who is not kind to her. So it's about her accidentally falling for the actor. So it's a little bit of a You've Got Mail elements in here. They like somehow text, or they have some kind of relationship virtually, and then they meet at the convention that her father founded. I definitely recommend it. I remember really enjoying it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and if you want a Cinderella retelling, here you go. So my next recommendation is Austenland, written by Shannon Hale. So this is the same author as Princess Academy, but this is actually an adult title. It's not like adult, but it's just an adult romance. It's clean from what I remember. It's not quite a retelling, but it is about a young woman who is obsessed with Pride and Prejudice, whether it's the book or movie or what have you. And when her aunt dies, her aunt knows about her obsession, and in her will, she gives her money or a trip to go to this reenactment place in England. So she goes there, she dresses like someone from that time and era, and acts along with these actors. So it's like a vacation place. It's like the ultimate cosplay. They have actors there who are pretending to be dukes or lords or whatever, and the whole vacation is you go there and you kind of live out this fantasy. And so it's about her going there, maybe falling in love with the stable boy, or maybe falling in love with the Darcy-like character. And it's kind of about her kind of getting over this obsession of hers. It's so much fun. I really enjoyed it. It's not like the most groundbreaking book, but when I read it, I really loved it. I like any kind of Pride and Prejudice, anything, so it did really work for me. I also recommend the movie. The movie is a lot of fun too. The movie is almost more campier than the book. I don't want to say the book is serious, but it's way more serious than the movie, but they're both a lot of fun. And if you like Pride and Prejudice, if you think this idea is a lot of fun, then you should check it out. The next book I have here, I actually have a physical copy, and that is The Start of Me and You by Emily Lord. I'm trying to remember why I recommend this. I recommend this because it's one of my favorite young adult romances of all time. So we follow Paige, and she's grieving the death of her boyfriend. Her boyfriend tragically dies in an accident. They weren't in a super long-term relationship, but she is still struggling because she is the girlfriend of this guy who passed away in a swimming accident. It's a year later, and it's the beginning of school, and she decides she's going to kind of change her life around. She makes a list of all the things she's going to do to try to kind of get over her grief. And one of them is like fall in love with her old crush, start a club, and things like that. She joins the quiz ball with Max. Max convinces her to do so. It's about her and Max. And I think the reason why I chose this book as a recommendation is because Paige herself is really bookish. She enjoys reading lots of books, and so does Max. And so there is some bookish element in here a little bit. If you can relate to being an introvert, I think this is a good recommendation. Just like in book 2 of the Bookish Boyfriends, Rory is an introvert. She's not bookish. She mostly paints and everything, but she's an introvert. But also, if you can relate to bookish characters like Marilee from book 1 of the Bookish Boyfriends, she is obsessed with reading, and so is Paige, and so that's why I recommend this one. And lastly, I recommend On the Fence by Casey West. I read this years ago on audiobook, and I did really enjoy it, and the reason why I'm recommending this one is because it's the boy next door romance, and it reminded me of book 2 of the Bookish Boyfriends, where it was a boy next door romance. In the book On the Fence, our main protagonist, she is the only girl of many rambunctious boys or young men, and their mother has passed when she was quite young, so it's just her father and her brothers, and the boy next door is really close to all of them because obviously with a lot of men or young men in the home. He comes over a lot and hangs out. She herself is a bit of a tomboy. She plays sports with her brothers and the boy next door. And we follow her as I think she starts a job and she's kind of learning to become, I don't want to say it for her become more girly, but she starts developing some relationships with some girls. It's about her kind of coming into herself and kind of developing her own identity, and that it's okay to be a girl and it's okay to enjoy girly things. And I think that's a really good narrative. I think sometimes as women, we're told that it's not okay to enjoy girly things or enjoy being a woman because society usually looks down on women. So I did really enjoy that narrative story. And she starts dating someone, but she kind of has feelings for the boy next door and so on and so forth. So I definitely recommend this one if you liked the boy next story and you're looking for another boy next door romance. Check this one out. So I think that's everything. If you've read any of these books before, please comment down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about them. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Please comment down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you. If you want more bookish content from me, please click on the video on the screen. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you have not done so. You can follow me on Goodreads and Instagram. And you know what? I want you to keep reading. Bye.